Hello, everyone, and welcome to the University of California, the latest virtual event, part of Become a Bobcat virtual series. My name is Ricky Hill, and I'm an engagement specialist and e-recruiter here at UC Merced, and we are thrilled that you are taking time out of your evening to spend it with us here for this virtual event. Allow me to go ahead and give you a couple of quick tips before we get started. If you would like to adjust your audio settings, you can do so in the lower left corner of your screen. Just click that button and make those adjustments as you see fit. To adjust the size of your window, you can click on View Options at the upper portion of your screen and make those changes there. Lastly, we would love to hear from you this evening, and we do have an option for you to go ahead and click on the Q&A button in the lower portion of your screen. Send us your questions, and we will get to those towards the end of this event in a live question and answer session. Quickly, before we get started with this particular event, I'd like to give you a little information about what Become a Bobcat, a virtual series, actually is. We will be coming to you live, just like tonight, with over 40 different events in the Become a Bobcat, a virtual series. Some of those will be topics such as the one tonight that's focused on finding your community of support from the Office of Social Justice Initiatives and Identity Programs. We will also be hosting different sessions based on the different schools that we have, which will focus on majors, course content, as well as many other topics, including financial aid, support services, and student panels. We do have a website that we will drop in the chat for you, so you can take a look at that in your free time. Go ahead and take a second and get registered for some or all of those events, and we hope to see you in those in the future. Once again, my name is Ricky Hill. It is my great pleasure to hand things over to my colleague, Taya.
Thank you, Ricky, for that introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Taya Serino. I am a second-year psychology major and a public health minor, and I am one of the scholar coordinators for the Office of Social Justice Initiatives and Identity Programs. And I will hand it over to my amazing coworker, Jay.
Thank you so much, Taya. Hello, everybody. My name is Jarshai Dennis, but you can call me Jay, and I work for the Social Justice Initiatives and Identity Programs Department here at UC Merced. And I've been with the office for about 2.5 years now, and I'm also a third-year psychology major with a minor in philosophy. And it's so nice to meet everyone. So first thing, something that we like to do in our office whenever we're giving a presentation or talking to the public is first thing we like to do is make a land acknowledgement. So if you didn't already know this, the campus of UC Merced currently resides on once indigenous land. So one thing that we always like to say is, we pause to acknowledge all local and indigenous peoples, including the Yokuts and the Miwok, who inhabited this land. We embrace their continued connection to this region and thank them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and collaborate on their traditional homeland. Let us now take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and all Yokuts and Miwok people, past and present. And thank you for that moment of silence, everyone.
Thank you, Jay. So who are we? So as I said earlier, my name is Taya Serino. I go by she, her pronouns, and I am a second-year psychology major and a first-year programming scholar coordinator for the Office of Social Justice. And I will hand it back over to Jay.
And again, like I said earlier, my name is Jarshai Dennis, but please feel free to call me Jay. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I am the graphic design scholar coordinator for the Office of Social Justice Initiatives and Identity Programs.
To the right of Jay, we have our wonderful supervisor, Lorraine Fisher. And she goes by the pronouns she, her, and hers, and she is the professional staff for our office.
So people often ask us, what is our office about? What do we do? And so we sort of summarize that in 3 categories: in a vision, a mission, and a commitment. So our vision in our office is for every UC Merced scholar to thrive in our multicultural global society. And our mission is that we aim to enhance the retention of our historically underserved scholars and to foster an inclusive campus environment for all by providing opportunities for holistic development, intersectional community building, and student agency. And lastly, our commitment to serving UC Merced's diverse scholar community. We seek to influence university policies and practice position on our campus as a hub for transformative leadership and social change.
So how exactly do we support scholars? We do this through coalition building, collective healing, education and training, living and learning communities, and to lead to a sense of belonging. And we will be further talking about all of these things that are interconnected in the following slides.
So for collective healing, for the last 4 years, I want to say, our office has been putting on something called a collective healing initiative. And essentially, what we do is try and bring collective healing, especially during tough times such as now, and tougher times in the past when everything first started. Of just trying to bring our community together in a circle where we all can heal together, and speak and have clear, open conversation. And so we practice that around different things like, so we have a radical healing series that we host every year and every semester. That can be anywhere from yoga, healing, such as music and other sounds, and being mindful. So mindfulness, healing and empowerment workshops. We host those every semester. And we also have some on our website at the socialjustice.edu. And I'll drop that in the chat in just a bit. And then we also host community healing circles and restorative dialogues. And we also have a ton of guest speakers to come in and also talk about collective healing and just how to heal as a community or as an individual in general.
So for social justice education and training, we have our annual social justice retreat where we take a group of scholars along with some of our staff away to Sanger, California. Um, and it's usually during a weekend, and we explore our identities and what social justice means to us. We have the Women's Empowerment webinar series, undocumented career training and support, scholar-led workshops such as combating imposter syndrome, navigating mental health concerns and stigma in communities of color, understanding intersectionality, and much more.
Yeah, and so we also have a living and learning community called the Social Justice Living and Learning Community, but we're also paired with tons of other learning communities. So one of the ones that we're paired with, and one that I actually lived on my first year at UC Merced, is Afro Hall. And so Afro Hall stands for African for Retention and Outreach Living Hall and Learning Community. They welcome first and second year students from all cultures within the African diaspora who are interested in exploring their African and Black identities while enhancing their college ed experience through networking and mentorship opportunities, academic support, and community engagement. And so essentially what our living and learning communities are identity-based living and learning communities that people of this who identify with the same community and same cultural values can come together and sort of create their own community on campus, essentially a home away from home.
So sense of belonging. So we have multiple cultural spaces on campus, and as years progress, we are always growing, and there's more cultural and affinity spaces to come. We have the Multicultural Center, the LGBTQ plus Pride Center, the Black Student Resource Center, the Graduate Student Cultural Center, the Bobcat Student Lounge, and the two that we have coming soon is the Asian Pacific Islander Student Resource Center, and the Guardian Underground Scholars Resource Center. And we also provide direct support to cultural student organizations and scholars in need of advising around identity development, inclusive leadership, and cultural empowerment.
And so when we talk about coalition building, one thing that means is that as people on this campus, as peers and colleagues on campus, we are somewhat of a coalition. And so when there's like big disturbances in the community, we in our office host coalition building. And essentially what coalition building is helping students make connections with each other and build collaborative efforts towards institutional change. And we also connect, with the local Merced community, the colleges and the high schools in the community, and also just all of the places in the community in general.
So we'll both be talking about our stories about how we got to where we are today as scholar coordinators. So definitely the transition from high school to college is not easy. And for me, I am I'm an ambivert, so I'm introverted and both extroverted. So I really had to push myself to join organizations so I could get leadership positions and to build a home in Merced. So the first thing I did was join the Filipinx American Alliance organization on campus, which is our Filipino club on campus. And through that, I was able to build connections, and I really found my second family away from home. And because of that, I met Danny Gaspar, who is another scholar coordinator on campus, and she invited me to the social justice retreat in spring 2020. And I went on it and I was able to meet Lorraine Fisher, who's our supervisor. And I later applied to be a scholar coordinator, and here I am today. And through this position, I was able to find myself and grow as a scholar and overall person. And I feel like I've grown in my leadership abilities and grown in confidence within myself. Like like a year ago today, I definitely would not have volunteered to be at this webinar series, but I'm really glad I'm here. And this position also opened up other opportunities for me. And I know that I have a lot of support from my Merced community in both my Office of Social Justice teammates and my family in Filipino American Alliance. And I'll pass it over to Jay.
Thank you, Taya. Well, my story is, so like I told you all, I started off my first year in Afro Hall, and I think that living in a living and learning community is something that is most definitely underrated, and I think that we should have tons more of them on campus, because there's just a certain power in, living in an environment, in a community of people who look like you, who talk like you, who share similar backgrounds as you, and all of you are motivated towards a common goal. And in that case, that's succeeding. As many of us are, or many of us on the hall were first generation college students, didn't know what we were doing, and so I really found a community that I was able to connect with. And so whenever I needed support on anything or needed to connect with other different resources on campus, I had a bunch of people who were already there. I just wake up and go to my next door neighbor and knock on their door and be like, "Hey, do you know where I can get this, and that done at?" I think that was really an experience that helped propel me to where I am at UC Merced today. It opened up a lot of opportunities for me. I met a lot of people who just really showed me how to make different connections on campus and how to put myself out there and how to also help other people in the same thing do the same thing. So like when Taya said she met Lorraine at the social justice retreat, my experience getting hired for the office, I actually met Onar, the previous director, which was about 2.5 years ago. I met him at one of the events that the office was hosting for the Multicultural Center. And essentially our conversation went a little bit like this. His old intern, who was someone who also lived on the hall at the time we had seniors on the hall, she introduced us and he was like, "Hey, do you have a background in graphic design?" And I was like, "I sure do." He was like, "Great, send me over a portfolio and we'll talk more." And that's how I got into the office, and that's where I really learned about not only it being in the office changed my view on the idea of social justice and what does it mean to have an identity and to hold on to an identity. And I think we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But essentially that's my story. And if I can give you anything from my story, it's just when you come on campus, and hopefully we'll be seeing you all in the fall, just don't be afraid to make those connections. Speak to people you don't know, speak to people who look like you wouldn't talk to, all of that and in between, because making connections on a college campus is most definitely how you make the best time in college happen.
Thank you, Jay. So ways to get involved with us. Attend events and workshops, sign up for extended programs such as Living Learning Community or future certificate programs, visit cultural spaces on campus, contact us with your questions and thoughts, connect with us on social media. We'll be sharing info later. Volunteer to help with programs and events, apply for jobs and internships with us through Handshake. So next up we have our activity, which is the social identity wheel. So our identities are really important because they make us who we are. Um, so as scholar coordinators, we do training, and in the beginning of the year we had an orientation where we had an identity wheel sheet, and it basically had all of these on it and a few questions that made us think about who we are. So some identities you may think about more than others. Some may grant you more privileges more than others, or some may restrict you from other more than others. And some you think about least more than others.
Hey, I think we have two questions in the chat that we can tackle. I think Kia, you said you could handle one of them.
Oh, yes, I was actually answering it in the chat.
Oh,
But the no problem. But the question was about the 1619 project. And although at this time I don't believe it's a project that we are also spotlighting in the Office of Social Justice and Identity Programs, it is definitely projects similar to that that we do in our office, right? Where we spotlight and try to. I think you two did a great job about really trying to have meaningful dialogue, right, about race, identity, social, economic, cultural issues that may be going on in the world at the moment. And so it would very closely align to the 1619 project.
all right. Thank you for that, Kia. And I think Tay, I think we're ready for the wheel now.
So why do you think your identity is important? Um, so you can also participate at home if you'd like to. And you can take out a piece of paper and type it. I'm not sure if the Q&A portion has an option for that, but if so, you can also do that as well. Um, so Jay, do you feel comfortable answering this question?
Yeah. So I think this is also a question that has as you start to progress into your later college years and you start to be exposed to different ideals and things like that, is something that you'll always ask, why do you think why is my identity important? Why is being important to who I am? And I always say that, my identity is important because, it's who I am. It's the person I wake up every day and go to sleep as every night. My identity defines, not only what I come from, but it defines where I can go. So, and I look at that as, not that it defines where I can go and any limitations or anything like that and put any limitations on it, but like so my I'm from Richmond, California, and so my city's sort of slogan, our logo here is from rags to riches. And I think that that's most definitely something that I embody as a part of my identity, is because I grew up as in a low income household, in a low income community. And I think that one day as I progress, I do want to excel from rags to riches in a way. And so when you ask yourself about your identity and why your identity is important, because it helps ground you in times when you're uncertain. When I came into college, my first year, I was dealing with little imposter syndrome. I flunked my first test, and I was looking at it like, whoa, like what is this? Like what am I going to do here? And then so I think that just remembering what I'm here for, what I'm trying to do here, grounding myself in that, I'm trying to go from rags to riches, and the best way to do this is to get my education on, and progress myself, that no one in my community or family has done, or is rare to see. So I think that that's why identity is important, because it gives you a sense of grounding and a sense of where you come from, and where you want to go in life, and what you deserve and where you deserve to go in life. Yeah, that was a little bit of a long answer, but yeah.
Yeah, I really like that answer, Jay. Thank you. So what identity or identities do you think about least? This one's a pretty hard one. I feel like for me, I think about my identity a lot. I feel like I'm still in that middle ground where I know who I am, but I'm also still trying to figure out who I am while also accepting who I am still. Yeah, I'm gonna spin the wheel again because I don't have a direct answer for this one. What identity or identities grant you privileges or benefits?
I think I can tackle this one, because I think as being in the office is something that I come to realize a little bit more. What identities grant you privileges and benefits? I think so. As just being a man, I do see that I'm granted some different privileges and benefits than some of my women counterparts. Such as, so like for an example. Um, One time there was my sister, she was going to go buy a car, right? And so we were shopping around for cars, we were looking at different lots and everything like that. And during our exchange with a lot of the car salesmen, I guess, or the car salespeople, excuse me, there was obviously a different sort of tone and sales method than there was with me versus her, and a lot of it was sort of negating whatever she said she wanted in a car and just trying to get her whatever they thought was best. Whereas for me, it was like, oh yeah, if you want this, we can do this and that. So I think that just because she's a woman, her opinion to that salesperson at the time seemed a little bit more arbitrary than I guess mine did. So I think that that's one thing that being a male grants you privilege and benefits, as you get a little bit more of a modicum of respect. And I hate to say that, but that's what it is. And I guess now that I did say that, some things that I can say, because I do know that I have these certain privileges. I make sure that I advocate, when I see things like that going on. So, so at the time, I was like, look, if she says she ain't want that, she ain't want that. I had to let them know. But yeah, I think that that's something. If you do recognize that you have a certain privilege or benefit than someone else, try and advocate that they deserve that same privilege or benefit.
Thank you, Jay, for that, and thank you for standing up for.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we have some replies in the chat. Someone put being self-confident. I am very mixed in my ethnicities, but I present as fully white, which has benefits. Socioeconomic identities, gender identity, racial identity. I think being Asian has sometimes benefited me as I'm inherently good at math and science and overall smart, which is sometimes not true. In a way, I would say my identity as a minority does have some privileges like scholarships and different opportunities. I'm a California National Guard. Do I receive any special help or any of that matter?
Yeah, I think a lot of what everyone shared here, I think that it's good that you acknowledge some of those things. And I think that one thing that you can do, is just like I said, whenever you see that someone is on the other side of that privilege, just trying to advocate that they deserve those same privileges and those same rights, and they're no different, or anything like that. I'm a California National Guard. Do I receive any special help or anything like that? Honestly, that's not a question that I can answer for you right now, but I do know that some of our other panelists in the chat can probably private message you something about that, if there are any campus resources to help you with that.
What others assume is the most central to you?
So what is this asking is, essentially, what is something that people think, that you think is the most important thing about you, but it really isn't. Essentially, it's just what they think of you. And someone else mentioned in the chat, definitely, in all capital letters, my bisexuality, flag and all, not afraid to be proud. And yeah, never afraid to be proud. And I think that's something, that I'm just going to go ahead and give you, a round of applause for, because I know it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy, most definitely just being yourself in a lot of places. And I think, just to relate a little bit to this question, what do people assume the most essential to you? I think that people assume, my blackness is the most central thing to me, when honestly, it's just my peace of mind. Just being able to chill and be all right is what's most central to me. And I say that people assume that that's the most thing about me, is because of how for my community I am, and the sort of advocacy work that I do and how strong my advocacy work is. But while that is near, dear, and super there. I don't think it's the most central thing. The most central thing is just me being all right and having some good mental health and just being able to be okay. Someone says, "Oh, this is a hard one to answer because it depends on the different people you know." That's most definitely true. I think given different perspectives in the world, people are going to see you differently, right? And that's why when we do meet those people who see us, for who we are, it's like we're a little taken back, like, "Oh, we're true friends at last." Um, and then someone says, when I was younger, I drew a lot. So people thought that all I did was drawing and thought all I wanted to do was draw. Yeah, I could see that also. I think that's common among most talented people. People see that you're good at something and they want you to pursue that. So they think that that's, the most central thing to you. Someone says my stance on inequality and my advocacy, most definitely. I think it's because those are like some strong qualities to see in a person. So when you do see somebody there, you think that that's who they are. That's their personality. When really people can be completely different people. Someone says probably my apparent laziness. I put away too much time into my work and into close friends, so I complain about being tired too much, which has a bad image. Hey, do what makes you happy. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, I would say that people think that my turban is extremely important to me. Not to say that it isn't important to me, but I have other things that are important as well, most definitely. And I think that that's something that you should always be proud to vocalize. Like I'm more than just what you see here. I like to do this, and I'm all about this. So thank you for sharing that. Then we have someone says, others typically assume the most important thing in my life is my education. While that's definitely important to me and not taking up on a large portion of my life, it's not the central most important thing in my life. Yeah, I like that. And then so if you feel comfortable sharing, what do you think is the most central thing in your life compared to what others may think? Yes, I love that. The most central thing in my life is to live authentically to myself so that I can live happy and healthy. I love that all the way. My mental state, not just school and family. I hear that. I hear that. Here. The most important thing in life is how you decide to live it. Most definitely. Wow. I'm loving y'all mindsets here. All right, cool. All right, so everybody, do we want to do another question or do we want to spin again? How are we feeling? My happiness and being able to go without regrets. Oh my goodness. I think all of us should be friends. I love this.
I love these answers.
Right. Okay, we have a spin again. We have a spinning to winning. Let's go. Self-love. Yeah, most definitely. Self-love. I feel that.
I love this one. What identity are you most proud of?
Yeah, I'm still loving these answers for what's most central to me. I think that's something that, we always got to ask ourselves every now and again, right? Like, what is most central to me? Um, but so, what identity are you most proud of? So, let's see what people are saying. Okay, someone says that I'm sorry, I'm not going to pronounce because I don't want to butcher, so I'm going to say someone says that their cultural identity is definitely something that they are very proud of. And yeah, most definitely. Like I said earlier, people think that people assume about me that my blackness is the most central thing to me. Like I said, while that's not the most central thing, it is near and dear, and that's most definitely something that I'm proud of and will most definitely represent in every way. And then somebody says the LGBTQ squad, most definitely. So our office, as a part of identity programs, we also do have an attachment for the LGBTQ plus center. So if you wanna learn more about that, go to our website. And I think I posted it earlier in the chat. If not, I'm gonna drop it right here, and you can learn more about the center. Being the first in my indigenous family to go to college, I hear that. Go ahead. Keep going strong. I'm proud of you too. Most proud of being a big sister. Yeah, I always wanted to be an older sibling because I'm the youngest. My siblings are mean, so I thought I'd always be nice. We still gotta grow, right? So we still have room to grow and to love ourselves even more. And the people we're becoming. Love it. I love that you're proud of defying the stereotype because that's something that I've always said. Like, like I don't want people to ever just think they can bunch me in a group especially a stereotypical one, because I'm always defying those odds and those means. So I love to see you say that. I love the diversity here too. This is what the campus is all about. This is what our office is all about. Cultural diversity, all sorts of diversity, coming together for that collective voice and that collective advocacy for whatever our students and social justice rights are, and we want them to be. First generation students for the win. If you're very passionate about that advocacy, I can't wait to see what you're going to do on campus.
It seems like we have a really good group of Bobcats coming to UC Merced. I'm really
Most definitely. Yeah, I am too. I want all of y'all to make sure that y'all stop by the office. So grab a pencil or a piece of paper and write this down. The office is in KL, Colligan Library, and it is, what is our number? I think it's 106. It's right next to the Multicultural Center. You can't miss it. Write that down. All right, so this is where we start to think about how we want to build our community of support at UC Merced. So essentially what that means is whenever you step into a social atmosphere where there's other people and just other beings going on, you're in a community. And so in that community, it's always a great idea to build, some pillars of support. Some of the ones that we advocate for are personal pillars of support, academic pillars of support, and professional pillars of support. So essentially a personal pillar of support is so what are you or your community might align with your values and identities that you're interested in checking out. And then academic is, you want to learn academic skills to support you in the transition from high school to CC to a four-year university and our subject-specific tutoring. So something to help you in your degree path as we have it here. And then lastly, our professional is, do you already have any ideas of what kind of internships, jobs, or career paths you'd like to take during and after college? You can plan to enroll in leadership programs and connect with career services to explore your options in getting you down those paths. And so there's a lot of different professional organizations on campus that you can get connected to, and they can also help you get connected to those resources, build your resume, build your professional portfolio, whatever it may be. If you're an artist, build your art portfolio and really help you get yourself and market yourself out there professionally.
So as we're nearing the end, before we give our contact information, a quote from an African proverb: if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Love it. And then so I hope all of y'all are on social media. And since y'all just coming in, I know that y'all all are on social media. So if you could go ahead again and pull out your phone and just go ahead and add us or take a picture of this and add us later on our different pages. And this so you can stay updated about what sort of programs we have going on throughout the semester, what we have coming up. Like I said, we do workshops all the time. Like right now we're having workshops like almost every week. And even as an incoming Bobcat, you can be a part of those workshops and those dialogues and those discussions. And in order to keep track of all of that is right through our social media accounts. So feel free to go ahead and add us. And I'm connected right now to our social media account, and I see that some of y'all are already adding us. Ileana, Christina, 80, thank you all for your following. I'll make sure I follow you all back. Julian, thank you all so much for your follows.
That concludes the end of our presentation. Thank you, and please stay connected with us. Contact us at socialjustice@ucmerced.edu or visit our social justice website, socialjustice.ucmerced.edu. So I think we're moving on to the Q&A portion of this panel.
Yes, we are. Thank you both so much for that amazing presentation. I have to say, I personally am always very touched by this presentation, both last year and this year. You all just give such great insight, not to mention everyone that was chatting in with us and all of your genuine and very authentic and transparent, honest, all of those great words. I appreciate all the comments genuinely. So at this time, we would like to go into the question and answer session. And so I know we've been answering a couple behind the scenes. So if you've seen those are there for you. But one question I would like to ask Jay, if you can get this portion kicked off for us. What other types of resources does the Office of Social Justice and Identity Services provide?
Yeah, so I think I touched a little bit on this earlier also, and just to reiterate, so we offer services for essentially everything on campus. And if we don't offer those services, we can help connect you to those services. So some services that we offer, are safe and safe community spaces for different identity groups on campus. So we have a Black Research Center, we have an LGBTQ plus center, we have about like 3 other centers. I can't think of the names of them right now. So we have that, and we also during midterms and finals and things like that, we also give out green books and blue books and scantrons. In the heat of the semester, when everything is turning up and everything is getting heated up for midterms and finals. We also have a bunch of links on our website to different community partners on campus and off campus. So we also have a center for reservation. So what that means is if you need some time to get together with your people or your community and you need to have a healing conversation, we do that. So we do healing circles from our office. We also offer grants and different things to different organizations on campus. So if you think that you want to come on campus and start a club and organization, and I think that you really should, we also offer grants to help you get started up and to also help you build a professional plan for that group or for that club. And then we also are connected with CAPS. So if you don't know what CAPS is, that's psychological resources on campus. So what they do is they pretty much that's pretty much where all of our psychological services are. And we have drop-in groups from there. So if you want to do it anonymously, you can go to our website. You can click on services, support, and resources, and then you can put in a anonymous application to meet through Zoom anonymously with one of our representatives in the CAPS office, and you can just talk about whatever and just have a safe space to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We offer volunteering opportunities to help support not only the local Merced community but also different communities on campus. And then we also host a social justice retreat every year, and I think Taya was talking about that earlier. And essentially where you get together with other people who are advocates for social justice and talk about exactly what social justice is. And every theme is different every year, but it's always centered around social justice. And then we have our different affinity spaces, and again, you can find that on our website. And yeah, so those are some of the resources that we offer. And if you really want to see what else we offer, the website link is right there on the page, socialjustice.ucmerced.edu. Click on that and you can see all of the other resources that we provide.
Amazing information, Jay. Thank you so much for that contribution. We do have one more question this evening. And also, if anyone in the audience, if you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask us, go ahead and click on the Q&A button at the lower portion of your screen and get those sent in. We do have a little bit more time during this event. For now, let me go ahead and toss the next question out to Taya. How can other students get involved in the social justice initiatives and identity programs?
As Jay mentioned earlier, we have a lot of workshops throughout the semester. We have one almost every week. So make sure to follow our social media. We also have a potential Asian American Pacific Islander Resource Center coming, and you can find that information to be part of the group that's trying to make it happen on the social justice ucmerced.edu website under affinity spaces. And you can also become a scholar coordinator. I'm not sure for hiring this semester, but yeah, that's another way you can get involved. Yeah, those are just a few ways.
Yeah, so we have in the chat, are there any food pantries or student aid for meal plans? Also, what does all you can eat meal plan mean? So essentially, what this is, so we do offer different sort of aids. Like we have a food pantry on campus where you get a certain amount of points you can go to every week and get free food and things like that. We also have different resources within the local Merced community where you can go and receive free food and things like that. And in our office, we always have like a chart of all of the pantries that are going to be open up in Merced around the month and around the week and everything like that. So you can always come to our office and just take a picture of it, and you can see that in there also. And then the second part of this question says, what does an all you care to eat meal plan mean? So essentially what you do is you go into the pavilion and you can just grab whatever you want to eat, and then you go in and you can eat as much as you want. And then after that you leave. They do it by swipes. So essentially, you go in and one swipe is a swipe, um, and you go and eat as much food as you want, and that's what that means. Hopefully, that helps. And then we have another one on campus. What is LGBTQ life like on campus? So I don't want to give you an answer because I don't have a personal perspective, but from what I've noticed, our office hosts a lot of initiatives for LGBTQ plus, and the turnouts for the events are always big. The community is there for each other, and we're also, you know, open community of just people who are working together towards the same initiative. So I think that if you want to get more involved, reach out to us on Instagram, and I can help connect you with, you know, the head of our LGBTQ plus, our head scholar, excuse me, who's head of that department, and then they can reach out to you and sort of let you know, and you can possibly get involved with the office through that way. So we have what resources are available for first generation Hispanic students. So there are a lot of resources for every type of student on campus, but specifically for first generation Hispanic students. There are different amount of clubs and organizations who help connect you to other resources. There's an office on our campus. I can't think of the name of it now, and please forgive me. But if you reach out to us on Instagram, we can also help connect you to the different clubs and student-run organizations who have more of an answer for that question and can connect you to more resources. Is it true that this school is really good for opportunities for travel? If you mean study abroad, we do have a lot of opportunities for study abroad. In the past, I know at least about 15 people that were in my close friend circle who got the chance to study abroad. So there are a lot of opportunities. All you have to do is just make sure that you're really taking care of whatever you need in order to be able to travel abroad. And we also do host different like seminars and stuff in different offices where you do get to travel within the local Valley area, to different places for different seminars and events in Sacramento and other things like that. Do most students have loans after attending UC Merced? So I think that every financial situation is different for each person. If you really want to talk about your financial options, you want to go to the Students First Center or call the Students First Center. So if you go to Google, type in UC Merced Students First Center, they can connect you to a financial resource advisor, and they can help you talk about your financial options. Is it still possible to submit a FAFSA for financial aid? From my knowledge, I don't think it is possible for this upcoming semester, but I think that, again, if you really want to know more about your financial options, go ahead and call a Students First Center number that was dropped in the chat, and they can give you all the options you need for financial aid. Would you say that it is a benefit to go to a smaller school like UC Merced? What do you think, Taya? Yeah, what do you think first?
I would say yes. The reason is because UC Merced, although it is smaller, it's you can feel the sense of community while you're on campus. And since it is still relatively new, you can start whatever you want to. You have more opportunities to start whatever you want to and leave an impact on the school. So yeah, my answer for that would be yeah.
Yeah, I think that she hit that spot on. I think that in terms of benefits and opportunities, UC Merced does have a lot more benefits and opportunities, essentially because, you know, it's still a new school, and you have the chance to be a trailblazer on campus, as they say. So I think that as long as you know like what you want to do, there are most definitely a lot of opportunities. Some of the benefits that I associate with academic wise going to UC Merced is that it's a smaller school. So you know you're not into a bunch of debauchery all the time. Most of your time is spent, you know, just being involved in campus life and really doing whatever you want to do. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of benefits, and I think that it's different for everybody. But I think that it is a lot of benefits and opportunities for a lot of people. How well have you gotten to know your professors, and have you developed mentor relationships? All of the professors that taught something that I like, so a lot of my psychology and philosophy professors, I've gotten to know them very well. One thing about the professors on campus are that, they are super open to talking, and they love students who come and talk to them, because, again, it is a smaller environment. So, there aren't that many students. So the ones that do come and talk to them, they're always super interested in, telling them about whatever it is about the class topics, even their life. Some of them don't get into that, but a lot of them, a lot of them are real and genuine people, and they love student interaction. So I think that getting to know your professors, is something that can most definitely happen. Also, your TAs as well. I've developed a few mentor relationships with some of my TAs, where some of them even wrote me letters of recommendation. So yeah, I think that it's most definitely possible. And also, y'all can feel free to hit us up on our social media, and ask some more questions through there through DM.
What are some events or meetings held on campus by the social justice initiatives and identities programs?
Yeah, so some of the things that we host on campus, some of the different events and meetings that we have on campus. So again, we have our drag show, we have a bunch of different like seminars and stuff that we have where we just have people come out. So like famous people that we've had come out in the past are like Tiffany Haddish, a bunch of other people that I can't think of right now. But our office hosts a bunch of dialogue conversations, and again, you can go on our website, you can see which ones we've hosted in the past. But I think now we're just approaching our time limit, so I want to pass it back to Ricky and be respectful of everybody's time. Again, feel free to reach out to us through DM if you have any more questions. Thank you all so much.
Thank you both so much, Taya and Jay. You all are amazing. You did an incredible job on this presentation. Once again, to our audience, tonight has been a part of our larger series called Become a Bobcat. The title of tonight's event was Finding Your Community Support, part of the Office of Social Justice Initiatives and Identity Programs. Once again, a big round of applause for our presenters. And this program is ongoing. So when I mention program, what I'm referring to is the Become a Bobcat virtual series. We do have a website that we can drop. You all can go ahead and take a moment and click over to that website at your convenience and get registered for some of these other upcoming events. A couple that you will see coming up, we have a career leadership and alumni panel that will be occurring March 23rd at 7 p.m. The next night, for Wednesday the 24th, we have a special event for housing, transportation, and dining services. I'm sure that'll be very popular so that you know where you're going to be eating your meals, right, whenever you're here. And also another big event that will be very popular, so make sure you register early, is for financial aid. So that will be happening Thursday, March 25th. And the title of that event is Understanding Your Financial Aid Award Letter. We are prepared for a very large audience, so bring your questions, whatever those may be related to financial aid or just in general, questions about UC Merced. Once again, that is the Become a Bobcat virtual series, and that link is in the chat for you to take a look at and get registered for those upcoming events over the next couple months, over 40 different events. Okay, one last quick tip I just want to mention before I let you go. We do have a new feature that we are offering to you called drive-through tours. We do have a website that will be dropped into the chat as well. You can take a look there. What the drive-through tours are all about is exactly what it sounds like. You can drive your vehicle onto campus and do a drive-through tour. We have different tour stops with QR codes that will give you great information about our campus and those individual spots on campus. There is a website that you can check out, as I mentioned, that is in the chat. Go ahead and get registered. That website will give you more information, and also you can take a look at some of those tour stops. And it will also give you the dates and times of the week whenever those tours are available. Once again, a big thank you and big round of applause to our presenters this evening. And thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to spend with us. We hope to see you at a future event. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.